La 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 Libra.
Ah.
Um, Heather, how the hell are ya?
I'm good. I'm good. I think that last week of Virgo, I've checked off a lot of things. A big project that I've been working on since the beginning of this year. I finished the first draft, had a meeting with my person about it. I get to take a break. I literally just got a call while I was peeing right before we started recording from the insurance person with my car rear-ending debacle, and they gave me like an estimate. And so I don't know, it feels like things are wrapping up, in an earthy way. I'm ticking those boxes and that feels good, but I'm excited for Libra. I'm like, I have plans to go thrift shopping with a friend on Sunday, and I'm just trying to get into that beauty, enjoying the beauty, enjoying the music.
Oh,
How are you?
yes. Well, first of all, Heather, that's beautiful. As always, our
Thank you.
guiding light, this is our we decided that we're gonna call this season 2 for the listeners who have been a
Mm-hmm.
part of season 1. So if you're new here, welcome to season 2. If you're old here, welcome to season 2, episode 1.
Can't
Kicking
believe
it
it.
off. I know, quite exciting. Uh, and Heather, here, our guiding post, our leading light, our star, truly, in our
Oh,
astrological love and passion and world. And me, Miranda, the one with all the questions. And that's kind of it.
you're my guiding
uh,
light in
oh
general,
my
in life,
God.
in
I made
friendship.
Heather say that. I made her say that. No, it's great to hear that. I also really relate to a lot of what you said. I'm like making, medical appointments, doctors,
Mm-hmm,
eyebrows,
mm-hmm. Yeah, uh-huh.
pedicures.
That's Virgo. It is.
Truly. And yeah, I just like following through on a lot of like things I need to be getting done, packages that need to be like sent out, things like that. Like truly
Right.
the a little mix of the mundane, but it feels good. Like it's so simple yet so satisfying. And isn't that the Virgo way?
It is.
Um
It is. Indeed.
but yeah, moving into this Libra, it's going to be interesting. It's like it feels like this last week of Virgo's year. Virgo's is for sort of starting those lists. And then, right, like by the end of it, we're hopefully tying up some of those loose ends, at least the ones we can. And then we move
Mm-hmm.
into Libra and we find that balance of like, okay, we just did a lot of Virgo self work and inside work, however you want to explain it,
Mm-hmm.
shadow
Mm-hmm.
work,
Yeah,
outside work
yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah.
And then we
Internal.
move into Libra, yeah, a lot of internal, I think,
Mm-hmm.
work.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move into Libra, which feels like we're going to find a little balance while still holding on to that internal sort of side of things, of keeping the
Mm-hmm.
ends nice and tucked, but
Mm-hmm.
also the little charming Libra to the side of it, like also with the sake of having fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Work then play. We don't
Yeah.
have to let go of the work, but it also the balance of okay, moving a little away from internal, letting some external stuff get healed as well. Um,
Yes, yes. That's what I think
mhm.
excites me most about this transition, especially after doing some research on the Libran mythology right before we started recording. But yeah, I feel like we're not only just entering the fall equinox, a new I always say weather season, and I'm sure there's a more formal correct name for that. But anyway, not only are we entering that, we're also entering the second half of the zodiac, which is, yeah, way less about the internal stuff and way more about taking what you've learned and how you've grown and going out into the world and relating to others and expressing your gifts, contributing to relationships and society and all of that. And yeah, the Libran mythology is all about choices. And it's interesting too to think about like you've done all this like internal work from Aries through Virgo, and you've like built things within yourself, and now there's a sense of like, okay, what am I choosing for like the future or for like the more external aspects of life?
Right.
Yeah,
No, I
I
love it.
hope that made sense. Yeah.
That did. No, it's I wanted to say that like I like the way you put that. I think they're and then we move into what's after Libra?
Scorpio.
Scorpio. So there is like a it feels like there's a wrap up the loose ends, balance your work
Mhm.
and play, dive into the depths of the underworld,
Right? I
and then emerge into the flames of
know.
Sagittarius.
Yeah.
And then clean it all up with a Capricorn. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like
right.
it does feel like it's a, if we're but when we head into watery Scorpio, the least we can do is get the shit we can control under wraps, right?
Mhm.
I think that's like the
Mhm.
goal. The universe is warning us, hey, we're about to hit some rocky waters, you know.
Mhm.
So make sure you're hunkered down, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, no, I love the way you articulated that, Heather. Thank you.
Yeah. I
I
love what you
appreciate it.
just said too, because it's interesting that we go from the only sign that is Libra being the scales. It's the only symbol that is an inanimate object. None of the other signs have inanimate objects as their symbol. They either have animals or a person, but Libra is literally a scale. And it's really interesting to go from that into Scorpio. That is literally primal, all about subconscious drives. It is like the least inanimate. And interesting that this arrives at the middle of the zodiac, so it's like a chance to, I don't know, really try your best to be conscious, to be balanced, to be it's a difficult task, I think, the Libra
It
journey.
yeah. As
Near
a
impossible, I
Pisces,
would say. Yeah.
yeah. Well, for them too. I think
Oh my
it's
god, yeah.
I almost do think it's again as a balance. It's almost sort of like it's a blessing and a curse,
The
right? Like
paradox, yeah.
there's so many times my mom has learned has felt like I think she's like, you see, this is what happened when I just jumped the gun. I should have thought. I should have thought. I should have put more thought into it. And then I've also seen her where she's like, I shouldn't have overthought it so much. I should
Right.
have just, and I'm always really grateful that I was raised by a Libra personally, as a personal anecdote here, just because
Yeah.
my mother being a Libra, first of all, she's my mom. So she's a good one at that. She's truly one of the best ones out there. Um, and she is so warm, so caring, so giving. But I do think sometimes in her Libra way, hides behind that so that she doesn't have to put on her own oxygen mask, or
Right.
it's like gets to a place where it's like, if I don't put on this oxygen mask, like this whole thing's going down. I do think she sometimes I have to remind her, like, make sure you're filling up your own cup first. Like, don't you can't take
Absolutely.
care of everyone else. And I do think Libras, like, they again, balance within themselves is even hard.
Oh
And
my god, so
you know what I
hard.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and especially when you can see the other side and understand that it's so necessary,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
not achieving it because of your own human needs or just human, necessities, not even that, human wants, desires, just the human experience in general
Exactly.
is like, of course, going to interfere with you being perfectly balanced all the time. And so it has to sometimes be a curse to feel like you're wrong if you're not balanced, because that's
I
just Libras they need to be a little gentle with themselves, but they're inanimate.
totally. I
It's really
think
interesting that symbolically they're inanimate objects.
I
I think
know.
there's almost a coldness with themselves to that sometimes.
Yes, yes,
Respectfully,
totally. No, respectfully, I
I think
agree.
Libras
I
can be
agree.
really hard on
They
themselves. They
can
need to be
be.
gentle, yes,
Yeah, yeah. And
and
yeah.
not so hard on me. Libras can be really hard on themselves, and me, and that's not just for Kim. That's on Alex too. But
It's so
it's always from love, though, is the
no, it
thing. It's
is. It
always it's
is.
a love language. If I'm getting yelled at by Alex, I'm like, that bitch cares.
Totally.
My bitch wants me to live a long time and be happy while doing it, doesn't she? Sorry, go ahead, Heather.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And like, I think, for people who have a lot of Pisces, I think it's very easy to see that and to kind of have peace almost with the fact that like life isn't balanced and it isn't for the most part, you know, this or that. It's very nuanced. And yeah, I think Libra is one of the hardest signs to be because it really does. It feels like an impossible task. Like, and I see the Libras in my life like struggle with that, I think. Like it's just like it's so hard. And it's such a noble thing to want things to be fair and balanced. And I like respect that principle so much, but it's like so much of life is just chaos. And I think that's
right. Or even things that, not to, I don't want to get what the Libras would maybe consider political. But even in the name of justice, right? In this country, for example, the label, the justice system is fucked. And
oh my God, yeah.
fucked.
It's literally.
And that's supposed to be like the most upheld form of standard that should match that name, the justice system. And it's just like, that is life, is that it's all exactly
it's
everything that should be fair isn't.
Yeah.
And everything that should be correct has got undertones of
and that's
bullshit.
Scorpio. Yeah. It's the like everything's actually darkness.
Yeah. And Pisces like, yeah, but the dark can be fun. Who needs
Have you ever thought about death?
Oh my God. I'm having too much fun. Yeah. It's episode 1 of season 2. I'm having a ball.
Libra's fun. Some of the funnest people I know are Libras. Oh my God.
Yeah. That's the other thing. My mom, again, I know her as a mom, but I think, was a rowdy kid. It was the oldest of 5, grew up in a small town, tale as old as time. And it was the 70s, whatever, 60s. How old is she? But it was a rowdy ass time, right? In general. And then now my mom's like a mom and I only know her as a mom. And it's really funny to see how she is like the first example of what I understood as like growth and change. And I'm not trying to say she was a bad person or a bad kid by any means. Yeah. She was just a kid. And now it's like she really has that balance of like, I was once a rowdy kid who's now a mom and has my shit together and very responsible. And, it's just, I love my mom. And I find myself, and I love Alex, of course, but that example was just specifically my mom. But I do, it's so obviously she is my mom, but I find myself so many times when I'm too emotional or sometimes too, not to say that she isn't, but like when I'm just maybe sometimes like, even when I'm being really hard on myself, my mom's voice comes in and is like, honey, gentle, easy. Like she does. It's like my mom always kind of knew the perfect amount of like when to get onto my ass about something and when I needed a hug. She was really good about reading that. That's what I want to say about Libras. Yeah. I think they're really good at being like, I'm going to yell at you from a place of, I want, you need to be doing better because I love you. But also like they're able to read that moment of like, okay,
ultimately I want to relate to you and I want to, and
you need to be held and I want to understand you. Yes, if that's anything, my mom, if I came home and I had a fight with a bestie, it was never just immediately like she was on my side. But then after the confronting and the I'm sorry that's happening, it would kind of be like, now let me try to understand the situation.
Totally.
And then it's like, because we would talk it out, I'd be like, oh my God, you're right. I started it. I mean, I know I'm in 3rd grade, but that was totally my fault. I shouldn't have pulled Alyssa's hair. I don't know. Like, she really, yes, I think Libras can be very understanding as much as they can also sometimes be very black and white.
Yeah. No, they want to understand. I know. So many of the Libras in my life, like really take the time to listen and get my point of view. And then they'll be like, well, this is why I disagree, but I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate that, because like
Right.
it's different from other people who would just be like,
Well, and you and me just
I
have so
disagree.
many
Like,
Pisces
they don't.
undertones.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, didn't mean to interrupt you, Heather. I'm just
Oh,
with the other
no.
Pisces.
I was pretty much done.
No, but I'm just like, you and me also can really relate on a Pisces.
Oh, I know.
It's
I
like,
know. It's like,
it's got to be agony for these Libras to deal
I
with our Pisces
know.
undertones.
Oh
I
my
can only
God. I mean,
imagine.
I'm such a messy bitch. I'm like, I'm gonna make the bad decision and see how it plays out. We'll see. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Let me throw paint on the walls.
Oh, I do love this time of year. I
Me
really
too.
do.
Yeah.
Fall, we have the fall equinox, right, on Friday or tomorrow, right? It
The
officially hits.
23rd,
Is that?
I think, right? Or is it the 22nd? I thought it was the 23rd.
No, you're right. I think it is
Saturday.
You're right. You're right. Fall equinox. The Gilmore Girls, the Gilmore Guys, everyone's out. We're wearing scarves. Those who enjoy that type of thing. Me. I'm just
Plaid's
it's
back.
such a Libra brings such a warmth to the air for me, like a warmth and a coziness to my heart. And I do think that's like, but it's also like school's rubbing up. You got to get serious again. Summer's over. Like this season always also is sort of like there was an excitement to school starting and getting to see a bunch of friends and getting to get back into the swing of things. There was a playfulness to it, football games, school events, socializing, but it was school. So it was work, right?
I
To my
know.
Pisces ass. And it was hard work and I had to get there so early, no
Yeah.
matter what grade it was. But yeah, like to me that reeks. That's the wrong choice of word to use. I'm gonna say reeks of Libra, but I mean that respectfully.
Right.
That's just so Libra infused to me.
Yeah.
Like when I think of like fall, school, work, play in that way, that's just so symbolically Libra.
Libra gets a rep for being lazy. And
Really?
I have to say, I think it really can be, especially, I don't know. I don't want to be so. There's like a whole bunch of Libra dudes in the Bravo universe who are the laziest men I've ever encountered. And I'm only viewing them from, as an audience of reality TV. But yeah, okay, because it's Venus ruled. So it's all about Venus isn't about like inertia or like, working hard. Venus is about I really want to lie in bed and eat grapes and like just see where the day takes me and get my nails done. And so that's sort of even when I was reading Liz Green today, she was like part of the Libra mythology is that someone offered him like a position in the hierarchies to like rule Asia, and the Libra was like, yeah, no, too much responsibility.
That's so funny.
So it's I think like, yeah, it's interesting, the back to school thing. I'm thinking about it because like Virgo starting the back to school makes the most sense.
Right.
And then Libra,
when you're in the real flow of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, the idea of like needing to balance the work part with like, I don't know. Now you're back in work, so you have to balance that with fun, with friends, with.
It's like, yes, school starting. It's a shock to the system because of summer with that like the Virgo is the end of summer and then also the very start of school. But I feel like, like how like your first month of school almost isn't real. Not that it's not real, but the work hasn't built upon itself yet.
Totally.
You get into Libra and it's like, okay, this is starting to get real. You might have like your first real test, your first real quiz, your first real grade that like counts for
I
something
like that.
sort of deal.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like the football games don't start immediately. Maybe that was just for my school, but I felt like it was like a month, maybe 6 weeks in before they were officially starting. It's like the swing of like school really like it's happening now. We're not in the adjustment period anymore.
It's
really symbolic to me of this. Because school is kind of your first, especially if you're maybe not homeschooled, not that you don't get this same experience on levels, but going to school is sort of, I think, for every human experience is your first real taste of what work-life balance is, right? Because the whole reason you're there is for school and the bigger picture of your education and the whole idea is like you want to be a good student and get good grades, right? Majority of us strive for that, or that is the idea in order to continue to pass
Progress.
and get out of it, right? Yep.
Yeah.
But you learn a lot not in the classroom, on the
Mm-hmm.
social, on the
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
the track, gym
Totally.
class,
Totally.
drama club, the
Mm-hmm.
stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just there's a lot of social. It's your first big experiences of social learning as well.
A lot of opportunities to be well-rounded with your clubs, with your friends, with
right. Just literally figuring out who you are with such little time on this earth so far. It's like your first. It's like you said, Heather. It's our. What's it labeled? Because that's kind of like it's every 7 years. There's that shift, but like your Saturn return has.
Yeah, there's the Saturn square and then the Saturn
Saturn
opposition. So every 7 years, you could say there's like a Saturn activation or cycle happening.
And think of just like your first 7 years on Earth, how much of that is already spent in school. Like when we really go to kindergarten, like from if you even start preschool early, you're already kind of getting that experience of a little bit of education and a little bit of socializing. Yeah, it's just such a, to me, that's so Libra, to bring in the balance of the work and play, and once we're really in the flow of things. And that's something I will say, like on a personal anecdote about my mom too. I wish she sometimes played as hard as she does work. Like the work she puts in for her job, she should just put that into her playtime for herself.
Yeah, yeah. No, that is a thing with Libras, I know. Or it's the opposite. You know, it's a struggle for them to find the balance sometimes.
Yeah, I can just see it. I can. Go on, Heather. I'm like, go on with it. Just kidding.
Should
Did
I
you say everything we wanted about the myths?
I don't think well, I'm willing to. I like paraphrased the myth that I was reading in the Liz Green book, and I think it's really interesting, and I could share it.
Please.
Because I think it's interesting because it really. I think it's fun to think of Libra as this like decision thing. And you know, the Libras always talk about how, oh my God, I can't make decisions for the life of me, or like, I can't make choices, whatever. Indecisive, that's the word. But yeah,
like,
so
Mom, it's ice cream.
Literally, I know, but they see both sides. I get it. But okay, I think this is kind of cute. So Zeus wanted Paris. Paris is the Libra, a handsome, clever Libra dude. Zeus wanted Paris to anoint either Hera, Athene, or Aphrodite as the fairest of them all. So these three beautiful bitches, by gifting one of them a golden apple. And, you know, Paris being a Libra was like, why don't I just divide the apple into 3 equal parts? But then Zeus was like, nah, you can't do that. Like, we chose you because you see all sides, so you have to choose just one. And all the women disrobed, and Hera spoke up, offering Paris rulership over all of Asia. But like I said, Paris was like, that's too much responsibility. Athene promised to make him victorious in all his battles, but he's like, you know, I'm not an Aries, I'm a Libra, I don't really care about war. And Aphrodite simply promised him the most beautiful girl in the world to be his wife, which was Helen, the daughter of Zeus. And Paris was like, ooh, love, okay. But he was like, how can you do that when Helen's already married? And Aphrodite was like, I'll take care of that. So Paris gave Aphrodite the golden apple and met Helen, and they fall instantly in love, and they eloped and they fled to Troy. But that pissed everyone off and ultimately started the Trojan War. And their 3 children were slaughtered, and so was Paris. So bad consequences. But yeah, but then Liz Green goes on to say that like Libra represents themes of not being able to have your cake and eat it too, and or not being able to have an equal portion of everything. Like part of the Libra energy is making choices and realizing that when you make a choice, you're experiencing the consequences, or like, you know, you have to lose the other thing. And one thing she said that I quoted that I thought was really cool, she said, Libra's propensity to get stuck in a choice between 2 women or 2 men or 2 vocations or 2 philosophies suggests that while the sign cannot bear division or disharmony in the universe, Something within the Libran himself forever drives him to divide himself so that he can discover himself through the deepening knowledge of the processes of choice. It's
Interesting.
interesting.
I love the way that's like poetically put. This is why I'm so excited we're getting into the mythology side
Yeah, me
the
too.
signs, Heather, because like hearing it put so poetically like that is really, it's just, it paints a whole new picture. And
Right?
I just like see the scale symbolically in a new light, in a
Yeah.
new way. And my
Yeah.
respect for all the signs really when it's read in
Uh-huh.
a mythology tone is just like,
Uh-huh.
never thought of it poetically such as that.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure it's got to be hard for Libras themselves at times with this, like what probably feels like a blessing and a curse to be able to see sort of all sides of things and to constantly be weighing those sides. But again, I think as is life, right? Isn't
As is
life if it's
life.
not one big scale? And there's a
Yeah.
lot of like when something should just be so simple, of course the human experience makes it not that, right?
Mm-hmm. No, totally. Totally.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's a very, it's like it's just yeah, understanding the signs on like this scope or really blowing it out a little bit. It's very fun, very fascinating to me. Oh, not me
Yeah.
getting chills, Heather.
I know. I've just known so many. I think more than any other sign, I've known Libras on an intimate level, so many throughout my life. And it just, I guess, speaks to me because I see them deal with decisions that feel so massive and do tend to have consequences. And such a, like, that's such a thing for them. It's like interesting.
Interesting.
So this season, they say, might bring up decisions. But
Exciting.
yeah, it is.
Good shit.
Yeah.
And with that, I know we've got a couple of I'm excited for these Libras today. These are both some strong hitters, I believe. Not that there's anyone we do who's not, but these two specifically, I love them in terms of us talking about balance. I think it's going to be really interesting to talk about both of them in that regard.
Yeah, yeah. I just forgot who you're doing. But I'm like, yeah, uh-huh.
I was like, wow, maybe Heather disagrees. Oh, and with that,
Being
Heather.
Libra, and I'm just agreeing to no. So please. No.
No, this is a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Shall we maybe move on to these Libra charts?
Yeah.
Some spicy Libras today, Heather.
Mm-hmm.
On the pepper scale, they are a flame. The both of these. But specifically, this first Libra we're going to be doing today has quite a bit of Aries undertones.
Quite a bit. Overtones,
And
honestly.
overtones. I was about to say like upper tones. Yes. The one and only Cardi B. I love Cardi.
Yeah.
Libra to a T as
Very
far as
exudes it.
exudes Libra. Also, though, exudes these Aries overtones.
No, I would absolutely say.
In the best way possible. Cardi B is just not someone who's afraid to use her voice. And I also like, she's a rapper and she's not afraid to talk to you about politics, to talk like on a live about political issues in general, which I feel is such a like shut up and sing sort of thing, right? And I think we're getting better as a society understanding that musicians using their platform is incredibly beneficial to the larger collective in terms of just getting people to vote in general. So yeah, it's and then it's like she can be rapping and singing about WAP, wet ass, pussy.
Mhm.
And then also be like, you know, here's where you need to vote, here's who you need to call, here's why it's important. And I love that. I
That is
love
so
that.
Libra.
Well, and I just think it's such a again, I love nuance. So I do think it's just such a like, it's so funny how Libras really want balance and search for balance and justice and things like that. Because to me, that is such a nuanced thing of, yeah, really being able to be a professional in, you know, in ways that you deem professional, but then like, you know, being able to lay back, kick it, and be a human and be relatable too. Like it's, Libras find that balance really well. And I think Cardi B really exudes that, especially. And that's just obviously a tiny example, but like, it's just, and you're allowed to be both. Like, I think society is coming around to this, like, we're not boxing this shit. Like, you're allowed to, like Taylor Swift said it once, you're allowed to like glitter and sparkly dresses and also talk about the issues, whatever they may be at the time. Like, come on, that is just a part of the human experience, yada yada. So I love that. I love that Cardi B is still very human in her level of fame, but also very like, I don't know, she just looks out for her fans, and like, she's helpful in a Libra way. I don't know how to explain it, like, if that makes sense. Like, wants to relate and help people, it feels like, in ways that she didn't have that guidance. I don't know, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely
No, I
uses
see
her
that.
platform and uses it well, and uses it for good. Definitely has a voice and uses it.
And cares about the world and
Cares, knows her voice. Yes. Speaks up about the shit she gives a fuck on. Yes. Sorry, Heather, go ahead.
oh yeah. Well, this chart is crazy. Um yeah, it's like a really powerful chart and very yeah, it's funny because she's a Libra sun, Aries moon, Aries rising. But not only that, but the Libra sun falls right on the descendant, which is opposite the ascendant. So like opposite your rising sign, you have the descendant, which is, if the rising is like how you appear, it's very like your personal presentation, the first impression you make. The descendant is like what you bring out in others, or like how you relate to others. It's Libra's house, like the seventh house. So it's very about like the other, and it's not so personal identity. So it's interesting to have your Libra sun in Libra's house right on the descendant, opposite Aries moon and rising in the first house, and Aries house on the ascendant. It's like, also because she has Aries rising, the whole chart, like each of the signs fall into the house that rules it. So like first house is Aries, second house is Taurus, third house, like goes in order. So it's a very like raw, like the purest form of the energies in this chart. And there's so much like oppositions. Also, Mars, Aries ruling planet, is right on the IC, which is another major point in the chart, opposite the midheaven, the career point. And so she has a grand cross, they call it in astrology, with all these squares with like all the signs that like don't get along well, are all opposing each other, but those tend to be the strongest people because they have to deal with this like inner tension of different energies on a daily basis and figure out how to blend them. And I think she is a fighter, and this is like the chart of a fighter, right? Would you say?
Hell yes, that's really, what a way you put that too, Heather. Because like, something I hate that happens to Cardi B a lot is like, men in interviews just like love sort of like alluding to her past as a dancer, as like a negative and like a slight. And there was a really interesting interview once too where she was like, I danced to get out of, so that I could, like, she was like, I don't regret dancing in the slightest. It got me out of a toxic situation in a relationship. It got me out of that house with them. It gave me the money and the freedom and the independence to get out and away. And then it's like you said, Heather, then, you know, she gets famous, or you know, sort of starts getting recognized from oh, what's the name of the show?
Love and Hip Hop.
Love and Hip Hop. Thank you. Um and for like rapping as the New York season, right? Or the New
Yeah,
York
the New
show.
York franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's just Cardi B could not be clearer in her music and in her interviews and just everything she's sort of shown us that like truly she started from the bottom and now she's Cardi fucking B. Like respectfully, it's just she really is from, I want to say she said it herself, like I'm from a rags to riches sort of story.
Makes so much sense with this chart.
Yeah, and that's like only like that does take a fighter. That takes a powerful person because the odds are not. You know how many nepo babies there are? It kind of shocks me too. I'll still be looking at people even from years ago where I'm just like, "Oh yeah, that person, what are they doing now?" Oh, they were always this person's kid. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just like that getting to be at that level when you have no connections and when you're not a nepo baby with it is very challenging, and it requires a lot of hard work and fight. Is just the reality of it in ways that aren't fair, but hey, when you have that Libra balance.
And Aries, right. And Aries
Odds
like
are in your
literally
favor.
is, yeah. And Aries
And
literally
and
is the
those Aries,
archetype of the underdog needing to fight something to discover its power.
yeah.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, this chart just makes so much sense. Ooh, but I also Venus conjunct Pluto in the 7th house near the 8th house, and Scorpio is like intensity when it comes to love and relationships. Like on the one hand, she shines in relationships with the sun in the 7th, but then Venus conjunct Pluto in Scorpio. Oh my God, you like the intensity. That's intense.
Yeah, and then like this big red square. You already mentioned this, Heather, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like the big red square, and then it's got like an X through it. It makes four
I
little
have
triangles.
it in my chart. Yeah. Well, I don't have quite the same dramatic, but it's the grand
That's
cross,
just like
they
her
call it.
chart. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's like intensity when you're just like, obviously, listeners, you can't see this. Oh, but maybe on the YouTube, Heather.
Yeah, maybe I should include a picture. Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll talk.
Yeah.
But regardless, even Cardi B's chart itself,
Just looking at it, it's all these
physically,
red
yes,
squares.
it's commotion, it's chaos,
yeah.
but it's beautiful.
It is.
It's so colorful and so just like it's like kind of a mesmerizing chart to look at.
No,
like,
it is totally. When I first pulled it up, I was like, "Oh boy, there's like harmony
so and
yeah, even though it's totally all these squares and oppositions. Yeah,
there's like a weird balance to it. Fascinating. Yeah. Anything else we should be adding, Heather?
I think that about covers it. But yeah, what a cool chart.
Yeah, I really love Cardi B. And yeah, and her Aries overtones way. I just think she's a real one. I just
totally
really think, she is about her authenticity, and that shows. And I think she is very true to that. And yeah, I just love her. Cardi.
Not afraid to be real.
Cardi, come on the pod. God bless you.
Come join us. We can talk some Libra shit.
Shall we get on with the next, Heather?
Yes, let's.
In our balanced way.
In our balanced way, we have
Libra in here.
A charming little Libra, heartthrob.
To say the least.
Partied with him day 2 in LA.
Stop.
Well, kind of did actually. I mean, he was at a party for my ex-boyfriend's web series. I was just
you were in a party with him?
I know. And this is like at the front of my mind because I was just telling a story for the storytelling thing that involved this. But yeah, no, I'm not kidding. My second day in LA, my ex was like, I want to come to this party for this web series, the rap party. Like, I think Zac Efron might be there because like he's friends with someone in the cast. And sure enough, he was there. And I remember texting my friends and family in Florida. I was like, day 2 in LA, got brunch with the casting director of Family Guy. Now I'm partying with Zac Efron. LOL. Little did I know my life was about to turn to shit like a week later. But balance, Libra.
Yep, and I was just about to say that. Oh my God, you're cracking me up today. And always, but just extra today. Go on. Little
Anyway,
did I know everything was about to turn to shit. Zac Efron. That is LA. And honestly, so hold on, Heather. Let me get a tangent, and I promise I'll get us right on back to it. If you had to give the city of Los Angeles a fucking astrological sign, would she not be a Libra?
She'd be Libra. It's like all the hopes and dreams.
Sunny. Yep.
6 parking tickets.
Another day of sun. Yep. And then parking tickets, and everything's against you, and then the traffic. And God, I just miss her because she's so charming. And there weirdly is a justice and a balance to her underneath all that, underneath all of her imbalance. Yeah. God, just what a Libra Los Angeles is. That's so funny. I want to think about what New York's a Scorpio.
New York's a Scorpio for sure. And I feel like Scorpios are attracted to New York. It's the we endure the cold because we're New Yorkers. We smoke our cigarettes.
The darkness. Yeah, you're right. I gotta go back to LA.
Scorpio's charming too. I mean,
I know, I do. I've really embraced that Scorpio energy, especially not to get ahead of ourselves, but in the fall. Okay, so sorry, Heather.
Totally.
I forgot I knew this story. Like I forgot it was.
I forget about it too.
Your second day in LA. Wow.
Right.
What a time. Go on.
So funny. So so Zac Efron's very short in real life, but very beautiful. And okay. So Zac Efron is a Libra. Virgo Moon, Capricorn rising. So lots of earth with that Libra.
Wow.
And I was reading up on him, and I think it makes sense, the earth. Mostly because, so he got started, he joined theater when he was 11 and did a production of Gypsy, one of my favorite musicals, and really fell in love with it at that point.
A theater kid, yeah,
which is cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think like his vocal talents is one of the first things that came up, like even before acting. Then he was going with his family on auditions to LA. Obviously the big one that catapulted his career was High School Musical. And he apparently, it was, we all remember it was very controversial when after High School Musical came out, there was the whole thing about like, that's not Zac Efron's voice. What the fuck? Like Drew Seeley, who the hell is that? And remember that?
Yeah.
So apparently it was Zac who was like, we have to put in the contract that if I'm doing the sequel, it's going to be my voice, which I think is very Virgo Cap with that Libra. It's the justice, but it's the like, hello, very earth mentality. So I love that. And then also he had the choice, because High School Musical blew up so much, he got a lot of offers to do like, film and music stuff. And he was like, no, I want to finish school. Like I want to finish, was it high school? He's not that young, is it? I don't know. He made the decision to finish school before really diving into the entertainment industry, which I think is very Libra, very well-rounded, but also so Virgo Moon, Cap rising.
Yep.
And then I think it's also been important for him to, especially since he started on Disney, to be balanced as an actor and to like take on the Ted Bundy shit, to do Hairspray, to do like a variety of different roles that show, diversity and range of talent. So yeah, a true Libra. Ninth house sun, which is Sagittarius's house of like travel and expansion and wanting to spread your wings, try new things. And I think that's cool that his show now that he's an executive producer on is this show where he like travels and eats food, right? On Netflix. Yeah. Very ninth house sun. And overall, this chart is also really cool. It is completely stacked in the public sphere on the top half of the chart. Like everything except for Jupiter in the third in Aries, which opposes the sun, which also lends a sort of need to expand and go on adventures and stuff. It's all It's all on the top half other than that.
Wow.
Yeah. I also just want to say that I feel like the other controversy, I don't know. I feel like this just amuses me and is at the front of my mind more than
Please.
most people. But have you seen pictures of him recently? So like there's this whole thing where like he got plastic surgery or like his face
Oh,
looks
I do
different.
remember hearing
And
about
people
this.
are
Yeah.
like, he got in an accident. He's like, yeah, I tripped on a puddle like a few years ago. And that's why I needed surgery because I needed stitches. And I'm like, I don't quite know if I'm buying it. Like in
Oh.
his Libra way, I'm like, did you want cosmetic surgery because you thought it would like make your jaw fuller and you'd look a little bit more, I don't know, quote unquote masculine or something, or just like more
Weird
attractive?
because he's
But
so
he's the
hot.
most beautiful person in the world. Like why
But
put a
that's the
bumper sticker on a
industry.
Bentley? Like I
You
know, but
know,
it is.
it really, that's, and because it's, yeah, I think I used to get very angry at the person who altered their appearance just because I was like, don't. But I can't imagine sometimes being in Hollywood and known for my looks at
I
that
know. There must be
extent,
so
and then
much
to be
pressure,
aged.
especially when you're a Libra.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
very in tune with that. But
Yeah. And so I've kind of started, not that you're being too harsh on him, but it is more just like, why would Zac Efron touch himself?
literally, I
Like,
mean, that was my thought.
like
And
just
who
don't,
knows?
we don't need to fix what's not broken. Maybe the story is
Exactly.
true.
Maybe it
Maybe it
is.
is
Maybe it
true.
is. I don't
But
know.
that is, yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that some more. That's really interesting.
It is.
But judging by his signs, you think you could see a possibility where he's maybe fibbing about the puddle?
I don't know. That's what my intuition said, but
Yeah,
I could be very wrong.
interesting.
I don't know him. I just partied with him once.
I, yeah, do you remember what he was drinking?
No, I don't.
Was he
I
drinking?
remember his brother looks just like him, but is like
Really?
slightly less hot.
I can't
Yeah.
believe it was. How big was this party?
It's small. It was small. It
So,
was
like
like at a
nobody was
bar.
like bombarding him for like photos.
No,
Did people
no.
realize it was him?
I was trying to sneak photos from the distance, but no.
Did he get? Did you get introduced to him?
No. And I
Oh,
wasn't, I know. Even back then, I feel like I was like, I don't want to be that person.
right.
But yeah, if I had gotten introduced to him, that'd be another thing. But
Did you
yeah,
have hugged
no,
him?
unfortunately. Oh, totally. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I would have hugged him.
Yeah. Oh. He seems like a sweetie. He seems like a very like genuinely nice person.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and with those Earth, Libra is a very caring, charismatic, like relatable sign.
Mm-hmm.
And then to have the Earth undertones, but especially Virgo with like, I don't know, it's just really interesting to hear that, like that. It's almost a good thing he's got that Virgo moon. I bet he does a good job of maybe filling up his own cup, like you said. And it was interesting when he went to hear about like that second contract for High School Musical. He really made sure, like, hey, I'm an artist. I want my respect.
Right.
I just love that. That to me is very Virgo and very Cap.
Yeah, totally.
Which I'm sure is it's almost like that's a great thing. Not that it's funny that he's got the Libra sun and then double Earth, while Cardi had the Libra sun and then the double fire. Because I was gonna say, like, no wonder they're both in the positions they're in. They've got these two like powerful entities on either side of their Libra.
Yeah, in general, I don't think
helping
Libra
launch them forward. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Totally. No, I cut you off. I'm sorry. I think that Libra though is like not when I go to look up celebrities to pick for the podcast, I feel like there's not a huge selection, and I think it makes sense. Like I was saying, I don't want to like make a blanketed statement of like all Libras are lazy, because that's not the case. Like a lot of them, I think, work very, very hard, a little too hard, like you were saying. But like there is this, I think, I don't know, it's not a power hungry sign, I think, or it's not like
they got there on they don't have to be sneaky or snaky or like have to trick anyone. It's like their charisma does the work for them.
Totally.
And that's
they kind of
like,
find themselves.
That's what makes them powerful.
Yeah, and that's the energy
they're
of Venus.
likable.
Yeah, their ruling planet Venus is quite literally the attractor, whereas Mars, its opposite planet, is the one who fights for stuff. But Venus is all about like, I'm beautiful and I'm just going to like sit here and be pretty and flirty and let the energy come to me. It's like
that's so. I just feel like my mom has no enemies, like none. Like she just like respectfully. I think people like she is just likable, but she's also not super, not that she's not sociable, but like my mom isn't like the center of attention at things. She doesn't go out of her way to like be the center of attention is what I'm saying. But like
Yeah.
but she is so funny. She's a little firecracker, and she's also like a girl's girl, and she really
Yeah.
knows how to talk to the girlies and can like make a friend wherever she goes.
Oh,
That's
totally. I'm
fine. It
sure.
really does just feel like it's, it's her energy. Alex is really similar.
Oh my God.
Alex is probably honestly is more social than my mom is in an outgoing way, but it's really just like it's a human. It's a human. It's okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
relate. Let's talk. I just love that energy as a whole. It
Mm-hmm.
really, because
Mm-hmm.
I as a Pisces really vibe with that.
Me too.
Um,
I get along with Libras. I mean, I no, but like I've had so many in my life, I think because they
right.
put me at ease. Like they're just so good at relating and some of the best conversationalists ever.
Yeah. And the
so friendly. Yeah.
The balance is really a beautiful thing.
Do you know?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you know your mom's moon and rising at all? Or
I knew it once. And I want to say I have it written down somewhere, and I should have looked it up before this episode. I'm gonna try to get it before our next episode.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Because I do want to say
Earth, maybe?
She's gotta be a water moon.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think for sure Earth rising. If I had to guess here, I'm going to go ahead and put this isn't fair because maybe my brain's remembering something I don't realize, but regardless, I truly have no idea. I feel if I have to guess, I'm going to say Kim is Libra sun, obviously, but a water moon and an Earth rising or swapped. But my first guess is that it's water moon, Earth rising, but maybe it is Earth moon and water rising.
Interesting.
Like Alex, right? Alex is she's a fire moon.
Fire moon.
But yeah, that's my personal guess with my mom. So we'll have to see. But I want to say, yeah, it's definitely giving. She gives me earth and water. At least for her. But there could be totally something I'm missing. But I want to play with her chart.
Big reveal next episode.
Yeah, because I didn't realize my dad's moon or his rising either. But that's just always fun to really get to look at your parents' chart.
Oh my God, the most fun. I can't believe you don't know.
I know. And I knew once.
But also, if they don't know their time of birth, I mean, with like people older than me, I always feel like it's a toss up. Like it's hard to even know because they don't always know.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I want to say I asked them both recently, and they both. No, I'll figure it out. I promise.
Yeah.
Nobody's stressed. Everyone relax.
I want to know. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It'll be fun to look up because again, they both get hit back to back. He's a Virgo, she's a Libra.
Right.
And with that, Heather. Speaking of this upcoming Libra-ness, what's going on? What do we have to look forward to? Oh, did we say Zac Efron come on the pod? Zac Efron come on the pod.
Pod, please.
Balance. Good.
Let's go eat like exotic food together. But yeah, so I mean the big doozy is just that we're entering Libra season, fall equinox. Libra's cardinal, so we're kicking off a new season, that initiatory energy. What do you want to start? And yeah, then we have the Aries full moon on the 29th, so next Friday, Aries full moon right after Libra starts, just a week after. And yeah, right off the bat, we're gonna need to find that balance of like, Libra likes to harmonize above all else, be, friendly and likable, but Aries totally. But Aries is all about how do I feel powerful as an individual? Like, where is my raw power?
Right.
So, and
how do we charge forward to obtain it? And
right,
the spark. Yes. Oh, that's gonna be an at war moment. I could feel that already.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a like, obviously it's not the new year, but there is a sense, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, Libra is the middle sign of the zodiac, so there's a fresh
energy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, like a freshness upon the, not quite a brand new maybe, but like a sub restart almost.
Yeah, an opportunity to reignite in some way.
I love that.
And that's I think like make new goals or to like reorient your original goals from the beginning of the year.
And we're in a new season for the folks that live where, even when I was in LA though, there's still like a season, even
There
if the
is. I
weather's
mean, I'm
not
wearing a
quite.
sweater today. My
Yeah,
first
it still
time.
does get, just like Florida, it gets a little chillier and cooler. But and then it's like there's still Halloween stuff out and fall things around. So you still get
I
into the
feel it.
spirit of things. But yeah, always with it's just like yeah, everything starts to die now from the summer, right? It's almost like a fire. The fire comes through to burn it all, as we say, so we can like grow and refresh, right? It's the like I'm interested to see how this Aries new moon, full moon, excuse me, this Aries full moon. I'm interested to see what and how it connects to the Aries sun later.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wonder. I bet those are energetically connected in some ways as well.
Yeah,
Sorry,
or
Heather, go
even
ahead.
Aries season earlier this
Yes.
year. But
Right. Oh, yes. Also that. Good point.
yeah. But I love the symbolism of fall being one of the most beautiful seasons when the leaves turn orange and
And are
especially
dying.
in like New York. But yeah, but then the symbolism of moving into Scorpio where actually it's death. Like beautiful Libra orange leaves, but it represents death.
But if you
Scorpio.
think about it, it's death. But it's my favorite one. It's truly one of my favorite times of year. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful kind of death. Scorpio.
Oh my
I
God.
mean,
Yeah, totally. I love
because
it.
the leaves provide nurturing ingredients for the trees to then cycle and grow them again for a rebirth, right?
We need
The
it. We
leaves
need it.
regrow. It's not like the trees die in some tragic way.
Hear that, Libras?
Things
Going
that
to
the
the
trees
depths.
aren't going to need for this next season, yes, are just going to simply fall at the wayside. And then we get out of Scorpio and we understand it. We get a little better perspective.
Then we philosophize the Sagittarius. Yeah.
It's just, yeah, that's so funny. Go on, Heather, go on.
I have nothing else, honestly.
No, I mean it's kind of like it is. It's really speaking for itself. We're in the swing of things. We're getting into the Libra flow. We're in like the falls upon us. We got this big old. You're right. I'm so excited to see how this Aries is like this past Aries season and how it connects with this full moon and also maybe this upcoming Aries. Like, what a beautiful symbolic time to sort of manifest on the past and also for the future. However way you want to spin it. But yeah, what a beautiful. I love how Libra and Aries like correlate because you're so right. There couldn't be a more, if there is a sign I'm going to say acts the most selfless, it's Libra. And yes, respectfully, we're going to say there's a sign that acts the most selfish. And I don't mean that in a shit
Not
way.
in a
It's a good way. It's a way everyone
they're
should a little
strong
more. But
individuals. Yeah.
yes, it's a just like, well, let's just do it for the sake, like, let's get it done. Let's get motivated. Let's go forward. It's so awesome to see how Aries and Libra balance each other and how they relate on those same themes and the way they express it and go about it differently. It's like Libra's Aries, like responsible, more older sister because Aries is the more immature self. It's just, but what a you're right. It kind of just this time almost speaks for itself in a lot of ways. Interesting to think about.
Yep. And then that Libra new moon in October is going to be a eclipse. And then we have eclipses in October in the fall. So excitement upon us.
We got Taylor Swift's 1989 coming out.
Ooh.
Do you hear about the vault tracks, Heather?
No. Tell me.
The first one's called Slut with an exclamation point. Yeah. So we'll see.
Kind of
no
like Kim
features.
Petras. my queen.
Yeah, well, Taylor basically is just
Kim Petras.
Just is Kim Petras. Oh, it's Libra season, folks. Come on. We're having fun. We're having fun on the side of our work. Come on. Oh, Heather. I just love you so much. I'm so excited. It's season 2, episode 1. It's goofy. It's fun. It's it's just a beautiful, and like you said, a fresh new start. Here we are symbolically for our podcast, a fresh new season, some fresh new sort of things happening for this new season. Yeah, listeners, just thank you for being along on the ride with us. And we release these episodes every Thursday. So just we'll see you right back here next week. Keep an eye out. All right. Subscribe, follow us at Hollywood Horoscopes. Don't miss a thing. Heather?
La 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 Libra. Love ya.
Love ya, Libra.
Oh.
Okay, that was kind of cute, right?
It was cute.
Oh, infinite abundance, bitches.
Infinite abundance. Love you, Miranda.
Love you. Love
All
you,
the
Heather.
love.
All the love, Libras. Au revoir.
Bye.
Wait. Bye.
Yeah.